Hey everyone, I'm Diane and welcome to Cats, Tea, and Me. Today we're going to talk a little bit about love, authenticity, and happiness. And love, love is a complicated thing. We all know that. But I think that we think of it in a different light than what it is. Because love starts with you. It starts within you. It starts with the energy that you put into yourself. And love is a choice. It is definitely a choice. It is a state of mind. Love is how you think. Love is the positivity that you put out there towards a situation, event, an animal, a person, any being, anything really. Okay? So love is a choice. It is a state of mind. It is what you choose to put out there. And we choose how we love and who we love. Okay? You do. You choose who you love and how you love them. It's just like hate. It is the opposite of hate. You choose who you hate. You choose who you spread negativity to. That is a choice. And so is love. It is a choice. Because ultimately you are the one who controls your words, your actions, your feelings, what you say, what you do, your reactions, what you put out there into the world. You are the one that controls that. Nobody else controls that. So you are choosing what energy to put out there towards any situation or any being. Okay? You're choosing that. But what we don't really truly understand is that love has many different levels. It has many different facets. And, you see it whenever you're like, oh, I love my sibling. I love my mom and dad. I love my friend. I love my romantic partner, my spouse, whoever. You may even love your work relationships, but those are all different facets of love. And the very basic level of love is to totally accept a person, a being, a situation for exactly what it is. Um, Understand what it is, what the person is, who the person is, that they are like they are. And then the next thing is you have to understand it, but then you have to not want to change it. That is not your job to change people. It's not your job. It is your job to change you. So you either accept people for exactly who they are or you don't. If you accept people for exactly who they are, that is unconditional love. That is really the most precious thing you can give is unconditional love. Just accepting them for who they are. Any other love, if you are expecting them to change for you or for you to be able to change them, if you are expecting that change, if you are expecting something in return, that is conditional love. Okay? So, unconditional love is the highest thing that you can give. And you can give that to anybody. You can give that to your neighbor. You can give that to your sibling, your parents, your coworker. You can give unconditional acceptance, which is unconditional love. Okay? We don't understand that because we think of love as romantic all the time. Well, that's, love is romance. Love is a partnership, that a lifetime partnership. Um, that's not true. That is a facet of love. And we need to stop thinking that love, it can just be romantic. Okay? Because you give love every day, and you can give love to everybody that you meet by just accepting them for who they are and not trying to change them. Um, and if those people or situations don't resonate with you, walk away. Love yourself enough to say, that's causing me discomfort. That's crossing my boundaries. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling unhappy. Walk away. You can let people be exactly who they are and still walk away. That's okay. That is really okay. Don't try to change them, but you got to change something for your happiness. And what that something sometimes is to walk away. So you need to be true to who you are and also let people be true to who they are. That is what love is. That is the very basics of what love is. And like I said, if it doesn't resonate with you, you walk away or you change something, you communicate. Communicate is something that is very, very important in this world. And we don't do enough authentic communication. We also don't do enough authentic listening. Don't listen to try to change somebody's opinion. Listen to try to understand where they're coming from. That is part of love. And when people say, well, you can't help who you fall in love with, that may very well be true because of where you're at energetically. Honestly, um, don't use it as an excuse because you are in control of how you love and who you love. You are not in control of what energy comes into you because that energy is matching the energy that you are putting out. So you are in control of the energy that you are putting out. So I guess in a way, you can control what energy comes to you, but you got to be aware of that. Okay? So it's not entirely true. You can change the people that you bring into your life. And you do control how you love people, how you accept them. Okay? So by not understanding that you put energy out there that brings to you the energy of where you are at in this world, that's what causes a lot of confusion because you can only attract energy from where you're at. You can only create from where you're at, the energy level of where you are currently at. That is all that you can attract. But the good news is that we are human beings and we are constantly learning and growing and evolving, and that changes our energy. Okay? So the more positivity you put out there in the world, the more that it changes your energy into positivity, and the more positivity comes back to you. And the truth is that people love you the best that they can from where they are at in their energy. Okay? The energy of the universe is always giving you the best outcome for where you are at in your energy. Okay? If your energy is nothing but negativity, you're asking for negativity to come back to you. Okay? And people can only love you from where they are at. They cannot love you where you want them to be if they're not there. They cannot love you as um, unconditional if they don't even unconditionally love themselves. And on the opposite side of that coin is that you also are loving people the best that you can from where you are at with your energy. You're doing the best with the energy that you have and the knowledge that you have. Okay? So you do the best with what you know until you know better, then you do better. Okay? So don't beat yourself up for past you not doing what you know now would have been the nice thing to do, the proper thing to do, the loving thing to do. If you didn't know it 2 years ago, how were you supposed to do it? You can't do something that you don't know how to do. Okay? Remember that. Don't beat yourself up for that. Give yourself grace. You can't do something that you don't know. And if you're always working from the best place from the energy where you're at, you're golden. You're good to go. You don't have to worry. You don't have to feel guilty about anything in the past. So, as thinking beings, we are always evolving. Always. We're always evolving. We're experiencing every day in our lives. We're experiencing, we're learning, we're growing. And as a result of that, our energy is changing. Okay. Our energy is changing. We don't stay static. Even if you think somebody stays static, they don't. Even if you want to stay static, you can't. That's not why you come here. If you wanted paradise, if you wanted everything to be perfect, you would have never come here. Okay. So you're here for the human experience. And this is why some relationships don't last forever, because they're not meant to. You can only be present in energy that matches yours. If you try to stay in energy that doesn't match you, you are going to be miserable. And this goes for all relationships, friendships, um, romantic partnerships, spouses, businesses, families, neighbors. All of those relationships are energy. And they must be an energetic match in order for you to be able to be happy. And that goes for everybody, both sides of that relationship. So you attract each other because that's where you're at in your energy. So you had the same energetic pulses and signals going out there. You attracted each other because that's what you needed at the time. That's important to realize. You needed that relationship at the time because relationships are meant to help you grow and evolve. Relationships are meant to give you experiences. Okay. So you needed that relationship. That's the energy that you were both at. You needed to have the experiences that you would bring each other in order to grow and evolve and change your energy for the positive. Um, so when you're growing and evolving in any relationship, you can either grow together at the same rate and in the same direction, and that is a continual match of your energy, and you'll be able to stay happily in that relationship. Or you could grow differently in your rate and direction, and that is no longer an energetic match, and that's okay. That's okay. Everybody has the right to grow and evolve at their own pace, in their own direction. You cannot force people to grow the way that you want them to. And in fact, that's a complete violation of their rights to be their own person. We don't think of that, but that is true. By you trying to control how people feel, how they grow, where they go, that's all a violation of them being allowed to be authentically themselves and to experience life at their own pace and in their own direction. And the truth is that happiness is the goal for all of us. Being authentically ourselves, being in love with who we really truly are, brings us the happiness. Excuse me. And you can't change people. You can't create your own happiness by changing somebody else. You can't blame them for your unhappiness, and you can't change them to try to make yourself happy. You can only change yourself. You can only worry about your own happiness. And you can't make other people happy. You can't make other people love you. You can't make other people enjoy what you enjoy. You can only do that for yourself. You can only make yourself happy. Enjoy what you're doing. Okay? I know that's hard for us as a control freak society to wrap our heads around, but this is all you got right here. This is all you got. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, your feelings, your reactions. That's all you can control. That's all you got, which happens to be quite a lot. That's going to make up all of the energy that you put out there. And that energy you put out there brings you the experiences that helps you to start the cycle all over again. Okay? So that's very important. Um, and I know I've said it before, but you have to allow other people, you have to give them their right to be who they are and to learn to help themselves and to experience life how they want to experience it. You have to give them their right of that. And you have to take that right of yours for yourself and understand that if you stay stuck in a relationship just because you think you can change them, you're playing the martyr. You think that you can make them happy. You fear an uncertain future. Will I find a job? Will I have money? Where will I live? What will I do? Will I have any friends left? Um, or if it's easier just to stay, or if it's more convenient just to stay. Those are not the right reasons to stay in any kind of a relationship, no matter what it is. You should be staying in relationships because they bring you happiness. Okay? Because they bring you happiness. If your job is making you miserable, it is up to you to find a solution for your happiness, whether that be to um, communicate to your boss, try to come up with a solution, change the way you're thinking, um, find a different job, retire, whatever you got to do, that is up to you. You can't expect the situation to change for you. You have to change yourself. You have to change your situation for yourself. If a friend no longer understands you, they think that you're crazy, or they start putting you down for your beliefs. Um, Again, have honest communication with them. And if they cannot see your point of view, I'm not saying try to communicate with them to change their point of view. I'm saying communicate with them to try to have them see your point of view. And if they can't see your point of view, you have a choice to make. You've got to find a solution to bring back your happiness. If your spouse or romantic partner um, keeps putting you down, like in the beginning of your relationship, it was they said mean things about you, but in it was just a joke, a joking way, or you're too sensitive, things like that. um, but they're no longer funny to you, and you no longer wish to hear them and have them be said about you. You're wishing for a more understanding and unconditional love. If you speak to your partner about that and they understand and you can move forward together, that's great. But if not, and they keep continuing to cross your boundaries, then you truly have a choice to make. And remember, staying in a situation for martyrdom, fear of the future, uh, convenience, easy, you know, traditions, anything like that, that's not a good reason. You're killing yourself with that. Okay. And when you break off any kind of relationship, whether it be with your neighbor or your friend or your family member, romantic partner, business partner, any of that, it doesn't have to be mean. And in fact, you shouldn't be mean if you're coming from a place of love. When you're coming from a place of love and self happiness, you're not going to be mean. You're going to state how you feel and move on. Okay? You don't have to have an argument. You don't have to fight about it. You don't have to raise your voice and start pointing fingers. It can be just a nice conversation. And if they want to be mean about it, that's their business, not yours. You can let them be mean without retaliating, without reacting. Remember, you are in charge of your own reactions. You don't have to react back in a mean fashion. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, because it's going to hurt. You're losing something that you maybe you thought you'd have it forever. But here's the thing, you're no longer an energetic match, and you can no longer go back to being, I cannot go back to being old Diane that I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, all of that. I cannot be that, because that person no longer exists. That Diane no longer exists. It's like a shedding. You shed off your skin, your snake skin. That snake can't go back into there. They no longer fit, and that skin crumbles, and you just can't do it. You cannot go back and put that skin back on, because it is no longer there. It no longer fits. When your energy evolves and you shed off who you used to be, there's no going back to that. You cannot go back to that. Your energy only moves forward. It does not move backwards. So now you're mourning the loss of who you were, of what you used to know, of what you used to have. Okay? You're allowed to mourn those losses. But hurting because of a mourning of a loss is much, much different than hurting because of physical abuse or emotional abuse or spiritual abuse. Okay? That is hurting, that is not loving. But hurting because you're moving forward with your energy and it helps all parties involved in the long run, that's a different kind of hurting. And I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, because it it will hurt. Okay? But remember, you cannot heal others by sacrificing yourself. And if you are changing yourself for someone else's comfort, you're killing yourself. You really are. If you're changing who you are and tamping down your happiness just so somebody else can be comfortable, you are killing yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and physically. You're killing yourself on all the whole triad. You know that there are chemical reactions and hormones in your body that they react to your emotions, to your feelings, to how you are perceiving the world. And that's what accounts for, ulcers and high blood pressure and heart attacks and migraines and um, even fatigue. All of that is related to your brain gut connection, your emotions. So when you are allowing yourself to stay in a situation that no longer brings you happiness, you really are killing yourself. And you need to love yourself more, because love starts with you. It really does. Loving your authenticity will bring you happiness. and loving yourself enough to say, I want to be my authentic self. That is what brings your happiness. So I know that we can all get there. And I know that sometimes we fear hurting others, but a temporary hurt for a loss of what can no longer be gotten again is a step forward in the long run. Okay? So just remember that, and go search for who you are. Be your authentic self. Don't allow those boundaries to be crossed just in the name of somebody else's comfort. And don't stay in a situation because of your own fear. Go be authentic. Go find the love. Be authentic and live in happiness. So I thank you guys for letting me share this little nugget of knowledge that I had here. I know that you're going to do wonderfully with finding the love for yourself. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you in the next.